You need to go.
Yes. Bang, bang, bang. Good evening. I'd like to call to order this March 23rd zoning meeting of the Charlotte City Council. My name is Ed Driggs. I am the District 7 member of City Council, and I chair the Planning, Transportation, Development Committee, and in that capacity, I will be sitting here tonight. We start our meetings with introductions, and we'll begin with the clerk.
Julie Thomas, Deputy City Clerk.
Terry Hagler-Gray, Senior Assistant City Attorney.
Good evening, Dimple Ashmera, at-large member.
Good evening, Dr. Victoria Watlington, and I have the pleasure of serving you as a member at large.
Good evening, Joy Mayo, representing District 3.
Good evening, Dante Anderson, District 1.
Allison Craig, Deputy City Manager.
I introduced myself.
I'm sorry, you're Good evening, everyone. James Mitchell, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm sorry.
Good evening, Kimberly Owens, I represent District 6.
Malcolm Graham, District 2.
Good evening, Luana Mayfield, Council Member at Large.
Good evening, J.D. Masueda Arias, proudly representing the East Side, District 5.
Thank you. We will begin our meeting with an invocation, expressions, and inspiration, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation by the council member is intended to solemnize our proceedings. We celebrate the religious diversity of our community, including those without a religious faith. Tonight, it is my turn to deliver the invocation. So I hope you will join me for a moment of reflection. Heavenly Father, accept our thanks for this day and all its blessings. We ask that you guide and direct our efforts to serve our community and everyone who lives in it. Grant that each of us may be just and fair and act as good stewards of the trust that our citizens have placed in us. Bless those who work with us to serve our community, particularly those who do so at grave personal risk to themselves. May Charlotte always be a place that we all can be proud to call home. Amen.
Amen.
Stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we have a couple of events tonight that are not within the normal sequence of our meeting. So the first item is going to be a public hearing on community area plans. And in particular, this is a hearing on changes to the 7 adopted plans that are indicated by the work that was done on the 7 plans that have not yet been adopted. And the intention is that we will modify the adopted plans to conform them to the plans that we will adopt. Because there's a hearing tonight, we're not actually going to vote on that tonight. We will listen to what is said at the hearing, and our intention will be to vote on the 13th of April.
April 3rd,
right?
correct.
So do we have speakers signed up?
Yes.
All right, so here we go. We've got those and these, right? And yes, Ms. Holmes, is she going to speak to this?
Just before the speakers, I was just going to give you a brief overview. As you are well aware, since the deferral on the 24th of November and our engagement that followed that, there have been a recommendation of several new policies that touch on neighborhood change, so how we deal with development in existing neighborhoods and how we preserve neighborhood character. Policies also that speak to environmental impacts, so specifically around adjacent uses and how we are context sensitive to those adjacent uses. And then a third category, infrastructure, and how we take into account our growth with our infrastructure. We also have minor additions and revisions that just clarify language, and then several map changes across several of the area plans. So with that, we can go into the hearing. I was just going to give you that brief overview before we dove into the speakers.
All right, so that was basically the staff presentation, and therefore we can proceed to the speakers. We have 6 speakers signed up, and a couple of those are against, and therefore, in this case, the speakers in favor have 10 minutes. The speakers in opposition have 10. Or how do we work it this time?
Each speaker should get 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Even though we have speakers in
Yeah.
opposition.
This is not, because this is not technically a zoning.
Right, all right. So then I guess what we'll do is we will hear from the speakers for and then from the speakers against, or do we just take them in order?
In the order they signed up.
Right?
It doesn't matter.
All right,
How
so
they
I have
sign- I think the order
Aaron
they signed up.
Oliverio and Stephanie Lasney. Are they here?
Yep.
Yes. Ms. Oliverio.
Hi, that's me. Hi, I'm Erin Oliverio. I just have really quick comments. I live in the Mountain Island Lake area, and I just wanted to come up here and let you all know how awesome the planning and CDOT staff was with our Community Alliance. They spent an incredible amount of time with us going over the plan, explaining all of the appendices and how everything would work together. So I just sort of want to acknowledge them. Monica, Kathy Cornett, Catherine Mahoney, and Travis Miller with CDOT, and they were excellent, and we are very happy with the amendments and things that came out of that and the things that are important for our area. So I just wanted to call them out by name and say thank you to them for doing that.
That's great to hear. Thank you. Ms. Lasney, is that right?
Close enough.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Stephanie Loss. I represent the Stillberry Acres neighborhood. I come before you once again this evening to ask for your help in saving Stillberry Acres. I'm here to speak tonight to ask you, I'm very pleased to hear that the decision was made to defer the decision to adopt the remaining community area plans until April 13th. I believe that there is more work to do, and specifically on the West Outer. I do want to echo what Aaron said a moment ago regarding the Charlotte Planning Committee. They have been a fantastic organization to work with, great partners, and but at the same time, I do believe that there is some more work that needs to be done. With the amended policies that are set to be adopted within this, I very much agree with those. I think that the policies to amend the impact of manufacturing and logistics next to existing neighborhoods. I think those policies are fantastic and are very much needed in a lot of areas in Charlotte. However, the issue that my community has with the West Outer Plan is that it states that, you know, manufacturing and logistics is part of this community area plan and is right across the street from our neighborhood. We just went through this with the Foundry Project, with the Still Creek Presbyterian Church properties. So on one hand, we're stating that we've learned our lesson and we recognize what's happened in Stillberry Acres and that the manufacturing and logistics is not ideal next to residential, yet we stand here before you tonight set to doom those same mistakes again. We're about to repeat history. And you know, when we meet with the Charlotte Planning Committee, again, fantastic people, but you know, it's what we are adopting into policy, that's what's in writing. So it doesn't matter what anyone's intentions are or what we say our goal is or what we say we're going to do down the road. What's in black and white is what matters at the end of the day. And as you all know, this is going to be the footprint that's going to help you make future zoning decisions. So it's very important that we get this right. The residents should have a voice in this process. We have been advocating for this. You guys have seen me up here countless times advocating for Stillberry Acres, saying we do not want manufacturing and logistics. We are not against development by any means. We think the way that the rezoning petition 134 was handled was very fairly. We think that that was a very good compromise, that we're moving forward with one area and not with the other area that doesn't have the specific plan. That completely makes sense. What I'm asking for and what I'm advocating for is to protect the future of our neighborhood. IMU is a much better use, a much better future use or commercial place type instead of manufacturing and logistics.
Thank you.
Was that my time, Mr. Triggs?
You landed that one perfectly. Well done.
Okay.
So our next speakers are Ernest Smith and Kelly Pledger.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and council members and planning staff. My name is Ernest Smith. I come to you tonight as a real estate professional. I'm not here just only to oppose, but to really advocate for the communities and families in my family, along with the long-term integrity of the growing city of Charlotte, North Carolina. So as the West Outer Community Area Plan is currently mapped, it sets as a dangerous precedence. It's supposed to extend a vision of South Charlotte Douglas Airport that transforms established residential communities into a manufacturing logistics corridor. Newer areas like Berwick and established areas like Steelberry Acres, places where families are starting and/or have built their lives, are now facing very possibilities of being surrounded or worse, replaced by massive warehouse developments. And here's the issue. This directly contradicts what has already been learned. During the Southwest Middle Cap process, the city acknowledged lessons learned. Those lessons were clear. When manufacturing and logistics developments are near residential communities, the intensity must be reduced. That means moving away from the most aggressive designation, the ML2, and instead using more compatible place types like innovation mixed use or ML1. But today, those lessons are not being applied. Instead, the West Outer Cap leans on vague green space recommendations and undefined critical areas to justify placing high-intensity ML2 zoning right next to neighborhoods, and rather establishing clear policies, responsibility, and being pushed down the line to further rezoning decisions where history shows us protections do not hold. Let's talk about the history. In 2020, despite over 1,000 petition signatures, despite being located in both a Lake Norman or Lake Wiley protected area and critical area, a major industrial rezoning tied to the Keith Corporation was approved. The very safeguards we're now being asked to trust were ignored then. And there is no reason for residents to believe that they won't be ignored again. That's not planning, that's gambling, and with people's houses. We are not against the growth. I've been blessed to call Charlotte home for over 25 years. We're not against economic development, but growth without consistency, without accountability, and without respect for the people already living here is not progress. We're asking for one simple thing, consistency. If lessons were learned, then apply them, codify them. Ensure that communities like Berwick and like Steelberry Acres are protected through policy, not left vulnerable or interpretations during rezoning battles. Because once the rezonings changes, once warehouses come, the character of those neighborhoods are gone, and there is no reversing it.
Nicely done. Thank you, sir.
Hello, my name is Kelly Pledger, and I, like Aaron, am from the Mountain Island Lake community in Northwest Charlotte. Our community spans a couple different maps on the 2040 community area plans and are part of why some of the votes were delayed so that more communication and input could occur. I'm here tonight to thank you for that extra time. Our Community Alliance, after being made aware of the plans in December, took time to review this information, which was a lot to take in, and pulled together questions and concerns for the planning group. The planning group not only came to a Saturday morning Councilwoman Mayfield town hall in our area, but they also hosted a follow-up meeting to make sure that they understood our concerns, and then we understood what could and could not be part of these plans. We did not get every concern addressed in the CAP, but our lengthy document of questions was responded to with an equally detailed response that reflected the amount of effort we put in, and that is a good thing. As happens every time we sit down with staff, we better understand the complexities of council's decisions that need to be made and the tools, both in place and in progress, to enhance those decisions, and this was no different. We see the community area plans as something that absolutely will impact rezonings, which our area has and is continuing to see many of, but we also see that the caps are not the only tool. I remember hearing a comment in January's meeting about the newly approved caps for an area that already were having rezonings that didn't quite fit the cap. And I can understand how that can be frustrating. But in our meeting, we learned about the rubric that zonings are put in when they don't quite fit the cap. And truly, they do look at many factors to determine what is best for an area. We also learned about the activity center inventories that are in progress now to also let council know whether an activity center that hopefully is only 10 minutes away way is established or in progress or a decline, just more information to make important decisions. And through it all, we also saw what we have also often seen recently, that by working together constructively with residents of the community, every plan, tool, and decision can be better for all. We feel that in the CAP that this has occurred in the extra time given, and the community area plans that touch our community are not the only tool that council can use in making important decisions, but ours is a better tool given the resident input over the past months. So thank you.
Thank you. Our final two speakers are Sam Spencer and Barbara Falcone, or Falcone.
Council staff, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. I want to tell a story of people looking at Charlotte from the outside in. 15 years ago, we had a major Hollywood crew come to the city of Charlotte to film one of the biggest productions in our city's history for Homeland on HBO, or on Showtime. And, you know, when they came and they did this filming, where did they look for places that they wanted to capture character or where they wanted to set the show? Most of the protagonists and their friends and family, well, they ended up living in Elizabeth. And if you look at one of the homes, I'm just going to take one example, for one of the characters that was used on the show. That house in Elizabeth was $355,000 when it sold in 2002. Now, it's worth $1.3 million. It's worth $1 million more. Because when we look at a neighborhood like Elizabeth, we see character. But what you might not know is this house is right next to a quad. It's right next to a quadruplex. And the quad in no way affected the value of the home increasing $1 million over 20 years. It didn't take away from the character. It didn't mean that, you know, people didn't want to portray Elizabeth as a desirable neighborhood. And I think that's important to remember in the context of this discussion that we're having about community area plans, specifically the amendments to manage neighborhood change and ensure infrastructure can support growth. We want to make sure that everybody has a place to live in Charlotte. And personally, as somebody who is very heavily involved in the creation of the 2040 Charlotte Future Comprehensive Plan, I think it's myopic to go against what reams of data are telling us, that we need more supply to be able to lower prices. All of us in this room, at one point or another, has talked about how important affordability is to us. We've talked about how important it is that everybody has a place that they can afford and live. We know how bad the affordability challenge is. And if we tie our hands in these community area plans to make it so that we can't have more housing stock and more affordability for our residents, I don't think that that is doing our residents and our friends and our neighbors a service. Remember, this plan is couched in equity, and it's couched in the idea that everybody in Charlotte deserves and can have a place to live. I hope you'll consider that when considering these amendments to the community area plans.
Boy, these guys are good. Ms. Falcone.
Just go. Sorry, I haven't done this before. Hi, I'm Barbara Falcone. I'm also with the Save the Steelberry Association. I would like to firstly thank you all for hearing us out. You've been very accommodating with deferring and making sure we're able to read and interpret these plans, especially our newest representative, Joy Mayo. I'm very happy with her quick action with the airport and making sure that they are very clear with their plans and what they're planning on going forward. Stephanie did a great job of expressing basically the legality and the expectation of the CAPS program and what we want from it. So I just kind of wanted to speak more so about how it affects our community with the mistakes that they've kind of made so far. we have a very elderly member of our community who used to actually walk the back way to the Presbyterian church and visit his past wife in the cemetery, which he is no longer able to do thanks to the Foundry's creation. He has to walk along the side of the road and almost get hit by traffic if he wants to go visit her, and he used to do this on a daily basis. So unfortunately, that thing has affected one member of our community, and all the other things that have occurred as far as like cutting the entire tree line so that the only thing we see is the backside of a giant gray building. Things like that. We want to make sure that people are more communicative and more thoughtful about these sorts of things as they move forward with the rezoning. Again, with manufacturing and logistics, they don't have to really care so much about these sorts of things, the beautification of an area and what they take away from it when they mow down acres and acres of land with a vague idea of what they might do with it. So I again want to thank the postponement of the Area B rezoning so that, you know, there's time to actually figure out what they want to do. And maybe it's not manufacturing and logistics, maybe it can be IMU or something more commercially beneficial to our community rather than being something of an eyesore as we are being surrounded daily. And not to even mention what would happen to the 160 road if they don't plan on actually taking the time to expand it themselves, which they probably won't, because if you don't require it, they're not gonna. And it's already a nightmare leaving our neighborhood at 5 o'clock with what they've already done construction-wise, and I can't imagine it would get any better. So I want to thank you all for taking the time to slow this process and make sure that we are hearing everything that's being planned as we go forward. So that's my time. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, that's our last speaker. Yes? Okay. So as I alluded to before, subject to a vote a little later in this meeting, we will be deferring. Yes, I'm sorry. I was just going to make that comment. We will be deferring the vote on both the adoption of the new plans and the changes to the existing plans on the 13th. Now I have Ms. Mayfield.
I move to defer the decision to adopt the 7 proposed Charlotte Future 2040 community area plans and revised policy map for East, Middle, and Outer, North Inner, North Middle.
Councilmember Mayfield, before you read all that, let's make sure we close the public hearing.
Move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Ms. Mayfield, we have, yes, let's conclude the vote. All in favor?
My apologies, sir.
All right. And in fact, agenda item number 5 is the one in respect of which we're deferring, so that might be a good time to do it, or we can.
So do you want to wait until we get to the item?
We go straight there?
Yeah, you can, yeah, I think it's fine if you'd like to go ahead and make the motion now.
Because we just had the hearing.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So just so we're clear, we're talking about the agenda item number 5, which refers to the adoption of the plans. And we're making this change because in November, we committed no later than this meeting to act, like to adopt or to take action. So we are now basically modifying the commitment we made in November. Ms. Mayfield.
Thank you, Councilmember Driggs. I move to defer the decision to adopt the 7 proposed Charlotte Future 2040 community area plans and revised policy map for East, Middle, and Outer, North Inner, North Middle and Outer, Northeast, Middle, and Outer, West Inner, West Middle, West Outer, and amend the 7 adopted Charlotte Future 2040 community area plans and revised policy map for East Inner, Northeast Inner, South Inner, South Middle, South Outer, Southwest Middle, and Southwest Outer until the April 23rd, 2026 council meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
13.
Point of clarity, is it the 13th or the 23rd?
13.
13th.
April 13th.
Yes, 13th. Nope, I didn't misspeak there. If there is no discussion, all in favor? Okay, any opposed? Doesn't look like it. All right.
Thank you.
So we now have an unusual event in a zoning meeting. The next item is actually for council to go into closed session. And do we have a statement?
Not close.
Add another one?
Yes, you do.
Can we do zoning first?
Can we move that to the end so that we can actually get through the work of the community since we made them wait.
Ms. Mayfield, for reasons that are difficult to go in detail, we kind of need to do it now as a result of another meeting that's also taking place. So I realize it's irregular,
We should have did both of them.
but maybe you could read the...
Yeah, it's on the agenda for you to go into closed session now. The motion would be to go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A4 to discuss matters relating to the location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the area served by the public body, including agreement on a tentative list of economic development incentives that may be offered by the public body in negotiations.
Do I have a motion?
Yeah.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. I'm sensing a revolt here.
Yeah.
You have one. We don't want to do it right now.
Yeah.
I just,
Okay,
Motion to deny.
but I need to understand.
why would we do it now?
Can I make a motion that we continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
Well, there is no second, so you can make.
There's no second, so it's over.
So you can make a motion.
Yeah, I make a motion to continue to the rezoning so that we can serve our constituents.
Second,
We will do the closed session after we finish rezoning.
second.
But I guess we're not doing it.
All those in favor?
All right, I think...
You can't call it.
Wait a minute, Councilman Mayor. Hold on for a second.
Hear me.
Go, Joy.
Well, she took that baton.
Right. She said y'all was too quiet for too long.
I have by acclamation a move to deny the motion.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're not going into closed session.
There you go.
All right.
Okay, good.
And therefore, we will move on to our business item on the agenda tonight, which is Agenda Item 4.
That's right.
And this is the Bowplex Improvement Project. So do I have a motion to approve up to $25 million in capital improvements for the Bowplex Entertainment Complex, and B, adopt a budget ordinance appropriating $25 million in proceeds from installment financing in the tourism tax fund for Bowplex Entertainment Complex, and C, authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute contracts associated with this?
Second.
All right, any discussion? Sir?
Thank you, Mr. Driggs, and I just want to say thank you to CRVA. I think we have Stephen Bagwell here. Steve, thank you. And for the Workforce Development Committee, Dr. Watlington, Councilmember J.D., Councilmember Anderson, and Councilmember Mayfield, and to our DCM, Ms. Craig, thank you so very nice for putting this on the agenda very quickly. This was an emergency request that we knew we had to complete. And so I'd like to think it came out of the committee 5-0, and we just recommended the full council will support this item that we need to get approved today. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Ajmira?
Thank you, Mr. Driggs. Great job to the committee for expediting this request. I just want to make sure that, as an accountant, the funding source is not property tax.
That's right.
The funding source is tourism, which cannot be used for safety, housing, or infrastructure. So this funding source, tourism fund, has to be used to attract more tourism. So I just want to make sure that we clarify that. And I think this is a very critical investment because it's embarrassing to have roof leaking in one of our own facilities while the game is playing or while the game is being played. So this is definitely a basic, very basic critical investment that we need to make to ensure that our facility is safe, not just for our visitors, but also our residents. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson?
Thank you, Mr. Driggs. I just want to say thank you to the committee and the entire council for supporting this action. We already know, we have to go through it again, the history of the Bowplex and what it's meant to the city. They're really operating on electrical tape and some soldering here with HVAC systems that are 70-plus years old, sometimes 50-plus years old. And so this is an investment, as my colleague just said, utilizing tourism dollars to then double down and invest in tourism that will bring more more people here to the city to spend money in our restaurants and spend nights in our hotels and spend money having experiences. So I absolutely support it. And of course, it's in District 1, but I absolutely support this. I think it's a wise investment. Thank you.
Thank you. I have Ms. Mayfield.
Thank you, Councilmember Driggs. I would just want to add on to the comments of my colleague to encourage and remind the community where these dollars are coming from. But also, I think what's very important for the community to understand is the impact of Bowplex. We all think about when we love to travel, the places that we want to go to when we travel for a weekend getaway or for family vacation, family reunion. Just for fiscal year 2025, Bowplex had a 73% increase. What does that look like? $60.8 million in events, concerts, entertainment, sports. So when we have the number of individuals that we have walking through this facility, these are investments that honestly we probably needed to do a number of years ago, but the team through CRVA, they really tried to keep things together, so we can only duct tape it so much. So now is an investment that's going to continue to life as we continue to grow. I am personally happy that we have the Charlotte Crown, so we have women's basketball coming back to Charlotte, and that is going to be their home. But we have hockey, we have concerts, we have plays, we have comedy shows. There was a comedy show, I believe, just last night. So to support this one, when community hear me say no to quite a few things, the whole purpose of the Hospitality and Tourism Fund is to invest and show how we as a community want to be seen by those that come to our community. And the first way to do that is when you walk into our facilities, you need to know that you're walking into Charlotte and remember that. So I'm happy that we were able as committee, thanks to my chair of the committee, that we were able to have this conversation and move it forward to full council.
Thank you. Mr. Graham.
Thank you, Councilmember Drake. Sports and entertainment continues to be in the DNA of the city. Travel and tourism certainly is a big driver for that, and this council has made a number of investments from the tourism fund over the last year and a half, whether it was Bank of America Stadium, our investment in the Spectrum Center and the practice facility, our ongoing support at the convention center itself, and certainly Bojangles Complex is one of those things that really brings a lot of visitors to our cities, help support all our frontline workers, and I'm very supportive of the action that we're taking tonight, but I think they probably need to come back for more. I had the opportunity really to go into the guts of the building when a corporate client was in town looking at the facility, and while we do need to do the mechanicals of the building, the back of the house also needs help as well, where entertainers come and their dressing rooms, the restrooms, storage facilities. There's only one access point for tractor trailers when shows are coming loading into the building. So I would suspect a year or two from now that we will be having another conversation about Bowplex, because it's really, really needed. The building is under constant use from visitors coming to our city. And as we get ready to host events like the military games or other events where that building will be a primary building in addition to the Spectrum Center, it really needs the type of TLC that we're giving it tonight, but also taking a look at some of the customer-facing entertainment, artist-facing areas of the building that probably need some help as well. So I'm happy to support it tonight, and if I'm here 2 years from now, well, I would probably support another investment in the facility because it's very much needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Watling.
Thank you, sir. I won't belabor the point, but it is critical that we continue investing in tourism as Charlotte continues to build our regional and hopefully national reputation as a destination for tourists. It's not just about the ticket sales. We understand that it's about the jobs. It's about our arts and entertainment culture. It's about small business growth. And so I look forward to supporting tonight, and I look forward to cheering the Charlotte Crown on in their inaugural season.
Thank you. Mr. Masura Arias.
Thank you, Mr. Driggs. I'm very supportive of this, and I want to give a shout out to CRVA and Steve Bagwell, who's in the audience right there, for the incredible work that you've done to keep this facility up and going despite the outdated HVAC units, as well as making sure that our checkers have good ice to play on, even though when sometimes that's really hard to do that. And also just like the cultural moment and significance of this is one of the only biggest venues in a surrounding black and brown communities, right? And they have access to this. And also is very personal to me because I graduated from Boplex, go East Mac. So it just, we need to do this investment to make sure that we attract more visitors as well as providing more amenities to folks in this area.
So if there's no further comment, all in favor?
Okay.
It's unanimous.
Yeah.
Excellent. So we already voted to defer the item that is item 5 on our agenda, and therefore I will now explain our zoning process. The process begins with applications submitted to planning staff for review. Cases of two types are on the agenda: decisions and hearings. Decisions on cases for which a public hearing was previously held with no further comment. Hearings. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to see the clerk before the start of the hearing, and there will be a staff presentation, following which petitioner and those in favor get 3 minutes combined to present their case, unless there are opponents signed to speak up, or if staff is in opposition. Then the petitioner gets 10 minutes, opponents get 10 minutes, and petitioner gets 2 minutes, which you may note is what I thought was going to happen earlier. If no one is opposed or signed up to speak, staff provides a short presentation. Public hearing is closed, and the next public hearing is open. So at this point, the petition goes to the Zoning Committee of the Planning Commission for review and recommendation, and I would like to introduce or ask Mr. Welton, Chair of the committee, to introduce his colleagues.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Driggs, and thank you, Council. My name is Douglas A. Welton. I am the Chairman of the Zoning Committee of the Planning Commission. Allow me to introduce my fellow committee members. They are Melissa Gaston, Aaron Shaw, Teresa McDonald, Robin Stewart, Carolyn Millen, and Michael Caprioli. The Zoning Committee will meet on Tuesday, April 7th at 5:30 p.m. At that meeting, the Zoning Committee will meet and discuss and make recommendations on the petitions that have a public hearing here tonight. The public is welcome to that meeting, but please note it is not a continuation of the public hearing that is being held here tonight. Prior to that meeting, you are welcome to contact us and provide input. You can find contact information for each petition on the city's website at charlotteplanning.org. Thank you very much, and back to you, Mr. Driggs.
Thank you, Mr. Welton. At this point, we will consider certain agenda items that are proposed to be deferred or withdrawn from our agenda. And Ms. Kramer, could you tell us what those are?
Yes, let's start off with item number 10, petition 2025-129 by True Homes, requesting deferral of their decision to April 20th. Item number 11, petition 2025-085 by HK Cedarfell. They are requesting withdrawal of that petition. Item number 12, petition 2025-021 by Harold Jordan, requesting a deferral of the decision to April 20th. Item number 13, 2025-094 by Topco Properties, requesting a deferral of the decision to April 20th. Item number 15, 2025-030 by Tryon Advisors, requesting a deferral of their decision to April 20th. Item number 19, petition 2025-063 by Northwood Raven, requesting a deferral of the public hearing to June 15th. Item number 20, petition 2024-143 by Panorama Development, requesting deferral of the public hearing to April 20th. And lastly, item number 22, petition 2025-077 by Short Development Group, requesting deferral of their public hearing to April 20th.
Thank you. So I don't know if there's another item that we need to discuss that might be deferred or not.
Once she got past 15, what did she call out? I believe it was added to the list, Mr. Driggs.
All right, so why don't we then consider the ones that we've heard about? Is there any discussion about that?
Just a question.
Thank you, Mr. Driggs. After item number 15, what were the additional?
After item number 15, it was item number 19, item number 20, and item number 22.
All for deferral. Thank you.
All right, so let's vote on those, right? All in favor of those deferrals and withdrawal?
Where's there a
Make a
motion
motion?
and a second?
No.
We need
get
a motion.
We hadn't had a motion.
No.
I make a motion we approve.
All right, second that. Okay, now, everybody, there we go.
We're going to make it tonight, y'all. We're going to make it struggle us.
So do we still need to talk about number 20? Okay, good. Our next item then is to consider consent agenda items. Rezoning petition items 7 through 10, with the exception actually of 10, which has been deferred, may be considered in one motion except for those items polled by a council member. I notice the lights are dimming. Please note that these petitions meet the following criteria. They had no public opposition to the petition at hearing, the staff recommends approval, zoning committee recommends approval, and there were no changes after the zoning committee's recommendation. Are there any consent items that council would like to pull for question or comment or a separate vote? Yes.
9 for comment.
Number 9. So the petitions in question, item number 7, petition 2025-114 by the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Hospital Authority. Number 8, petition 2025-121 by the Huntington National Bank. And we will consider item number 9, petition 2025-122 after the vote. So right now, we're voting on items 7 and 8.
No, we're not.
Approval.
No, we're not, because I'm waiting
We
to
have a
pull
motion and a
number
second,
7.
Ms. Mayfield.
I'm waiting to pull number 7.
Okay, number 7 is also deferred, so it looks like our consent consists of item number 8. Do we all consent to item number 8?
Yes.
All in favor?
We had a second?
I make a motion.
I thought I heard a motion, but that was...
That was what I thought it was 7 and 8.
Right? All right, so the motion now is for
Because
item
now it's
number
only,
8.
only 8.
And that motion is made by Ms. Owens?
And second by Ms. Ashman.
Okay. All right, everybody good with that? Hands up. Yes. All right. So then we will consider item number 7, petition 2025-114 by the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Hospital Authority, and that was Ms. Mayfield.
Thank you.
Need a motion?
Yes, I guess
So
I'll ask for the
moved.
motion first. Is there a motion to approve that item?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Now discussion.
Now discussion. Actually, I was just trying to get an understanding, and maybe staff can answer this one. It's noted in here that this petition proposes a private outdoor recreation facility that's associated with the adjacent healthcare institution, but it was also noted in the community comments access. So I was trying to get an understanding of what the community benefit to the residents are for this petition.
So this is a therapeutic park. There were
Right.
not specific community priorities or benefits worked out. It's not an exception petition, for example, but
So is it accessible to the community since this was a private outdoor facility?
there are not notes stating that the use is limited in any regard. So I'm not aware of it being limited access, though it is associated with the healthcare institution.
Thank you.
Thank you. So,
Mr. Driggs?
yes.
I just wanted to address my colleague's comment. So the neighborhood, Dilworth, has been in communication, of course, with the hospital and with the petitioner's representation. And so they're very comfortable with the park. They have, what the petitioner has said is they want to keep this area as open and accessible as possible. But if there become issues or of loitering or things of that nature, then they will have to potentially pivot. But their current stance is that they want to be open and acceptable to the community that lives right there adjacent along Lombardi. So that's their position, Ally.
Right. Yes, we will. Right. But right now, we're on
Number 7.
number 7, and we've had comments, and therefore, we can vote.
It's time for
All
a
in
vote.
favor? Do we have
Yep.
a motion?
Was there a?
Yeah, she made a motion and she seconded it.
Luana seconded.
Okay, so there was a motion to adopt and approve the petition and adopt the consistency statement?
Correct. By Councilmember
That is
Anderson.
not what was
All right,
said.
I need to read the
Slow it down.
actual. There is a motion to approve the petition and adopt the zoning committee statement of consistency as it appears in our agendas and on the screen as the council's own.
So moved.
Yes? Okay, second to that?
Ms. Mayfield seconded.
Second. All in favor?
Thank you, Ms. Mayfield.
Okay, we're getting there. Good. So now we go to number 9, right?
Yep.
And I believe, do I have a motion to approve number 9?
So moved.
Well, again, let me read it. Is there a motion to approve the petition and adopt the zoning committee statement of consistency as it appears in our agendas and on the screen as the council's own?
So moved.
So moved. Oh, go ahead,
Second.
Ms. Wallace.
So moved.
We
Second.
have a motion and a second comment? Yes.
Thank you. I just wanted to acknowledge Pastors Brian and Karen Bullock and the whole Union Church Charlotte family that has come out to support this rezoning tonight. Union Charlotte. Yeah, they've got 2 locations here in the area, and this marks a significant milestone because this will be their first permanent location in the area. As we all know, faith communities are an anchor in our neighborhoods, and so we appreciate your presence and your engagement in the process. Your commitment to serving the community reflects exactly what we want to invest in the Charlotte area. So thank you for being here tonight. And on behalf of Councilmember Renee Perkins Johnson, your District 4 representative, who's unable to be here tonight, she's tending to family, welcome to the neighborhood.
Took a turn. Okay.
All right, we good? Can we vote?
Yeah.
All right, everybody, in favor?
Deferred to 420?
Yes.
It's unanimous. Okay.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So, right, I'm just going to comment on the fact that
Now
items...
number
14 now.
14.
Right, so
We're doing 14 right
we
now.
already determined that items 11 and 12 and 13 are deferred or withdrawn, and therefore we are now on item 14. Rezoning petition 2025-118 by Charlotte Planning, Design, and Development Department, a text amendment. The purpose of this text amendment is to update the UDO to implement and support the goals and policies of the Charlotte Future 2040 Comprehensive Plan. This includes updates to reflect best practices, address new and emerging trends, address implementation challenges identified by external and internal stakeholders, and correct Scrivener's errors. Updates are proposed to 25 of the 39 articles. The
Move for
zoning
approval, item
zoning committee
14.
recommended 6-0 to approve, and staff recommends approval. All right, so we have a motion? Yes?
Second.
Yeah, I made a motion. Somebody second. Dimple
Okay.
seconded.
We don't need the full text for this one, do we, or do we?
Yes, it would be best if you did that, Mr.
All right,
Driggs.
so again, is there a motion to approve the petition and adopt the zoning committee's statement of consistency as it appears in our agendas and on the screen as the council's own?
Yes.
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 Second?
Yes, second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Lord.
Come on, get those hands up.
Oh, I
Okay,
did.
good. That's unanimous.
Any opposed? We still have
I think it was unanimous, and therefore, there isn't anybody opposed. Or do you want to oppose?
No, sir.
Okay, we're good. So we go to item 15. That one's
15.
deferred.
15
There it
is
is,
deferred.
deferred. Okay, moving to 16. This one, I think, is still on the agenda, yes. Rezoning petition 2025-039 by Christopher Martin. Location, approximately .37 acres, located southwest of Scaly Bark Road, east of Lockridge Road, and north of Murray Hill Road in Ms. Anderson's district. Current zoning is N1B, neighborhood 1B. Proposed zoning is N1C, CD, neighborhood 1C conditional. Zoning committee voted 6-0 to recommend approval of this petition, and staff recommends approval of this petition. Is there a motion to approve the petition and adopt the zoning committee statement of consistency as it appears in our agendas and on the screen as the council's own?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay, excellent. So we go to, all right, so item 17, we need to refer back to the zoning committee. Apparently, there have been changes that require that we, sorry?
We don't, I don't have 17 in my book.
It's not in the agenda, but it's in
It's on
the
here,
book.
it's on the iLegislate.
Yeah, it's in here.
Okay.
It's online.
It's online, it's not in our printed material.
You can look here if you, if you want.
Okay.
Anyway, the situation here is that we have changes that would require a council vote not to go back to zoning committee. It requires a 3/4 majority vote not to send it back to committee. Ms. Kramer, would you tell us what the changes are?
Yes, this is a petition proposing 72 townhome-style units. After the zoning committee's recommendation, they added a couple of conditional notes. They added a note stating that no more than 50% of the units would have a one-car garage. The rest of the units would have to have a two-car garage that accommodates vehicles being parked side by side. All dwelling units would, except for the 8 units along Limelight Lane, would be served by a driveway that accommodates 2 vehicles parked side by side. And the last note added was that the 8 dwelling units located along Limelight Lane should have a 2-car garage that accommodates 2 vehicles parked side by side. Staff believes that these changes are minor and do not warrant additional review by the zoning committee.
So do I have a motion that the changes should not go back to the zoning committee?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. I would like to note, just for the community and council members also, that Steel Creek Residents Association has been working closely with petitioner. They've had the petitioner's attorney have attended their zoning meetings for several months in a row to kind of accommodate and make these changes with them. So just want to thank the petitioner and Steel Creek Residents Association for doing that. This is what we're kind of always talking about, community working in collaboration with developers when applicable. So just wanted everyone on the council to know that Steel Creek residents have, they don't say support, but they say they do not oppose the rezoning. So.
Okay.
Good. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, this is the vote whether not to send back.
Yes, this is the vote not to send back, okay? So everybody who thinks that we should not send it back, please raise your hand. And I think that clears the bar. It's unanimous, right? So now,
Motion to adopt and approve, right?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, I'm just about to read that. Is there a motion to approve the petition and adopt the zoning committee statement of consistency as it appears in our agendas and on the screen as the council's own?
So move.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Yes, Ms. Mayfield.
Thank you for staff. Since I did not have a chance to speak with the petitioner, I appreciate the additional language that they've added, but I'm trying to look at this to see if there's any possibility with this particular design, if there will be any on-street parking. I believe by the petitioner adding the additional 2-car garage and the rear loading for the parking, that should assist, but I want to make sure that we're not setting ourselves up where you're going to have individuals parking on a pretty busy street.
I believe that there was on some amount of on-street parking identified. CDOT, if you could help confirm, but I think there is on the plan some identified.
Because, and as you're coming up, one of the things I need for us to consider is some other areas where individuals, the average household has more than 1 to 2 vehicles. So unfortunately, a lot of homes today are not built with usable attic space, so people are using their garages more often for storage. So that means those 2+ vehicles are, if they're not going to make it in the driveway, they're blocking the sidewalk and/or they're on the street, and that's causing challenges for sight with vehicles maneuvering. So I just wanted to get a better understanding.
Yep. Travis Miller with CDOT. Good evening, Council. So currently, if you can see the plan on the screen here, on Red Spring Drive and Limelight Lane, you will see bump outs on each public roadway. Got a pointer? So you'll see bump outs on the public roadway here, here, as well as right here. And each of those locations would accommodate on-street parking on the internal public roadways, but there is not on-street parking on your main arterial out here.
But this development has created setback for that on-street parking, so they should not actually be in the street right away.
Correct.
That's what I wanted to clarify on the drawings. Thank you.
No further comment. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Okay, that's unanimous. No one opposed, right? Next item, our last vote for tonight, is another one that requires a vote to not send back to the zoning committee because of changes. Ms. Kramer, could you tell us what they are?
Thank you. This is a petition for 125 affordable housing units and 11 townhome units. Since the zoning committee's recommendation, they added one note just clarifying that street frontage improvements would be implemented around the church property that's abutting the site to the west, as well as along the rezoning boundary, and those would be tied into the existing sidewalk. So just clarifying some improvements that would be triggered during permitting, and wanted to get that on the conditional notes and shown on the site plan.
Thank you. Do I have a motion that the changes should not go back to the zoning committee?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
The changes do not go back.
Changes not going back to
Changes
the
do not go
committee.
back. I think that carries, right? We're
Yeah.
good. Any opposed?
Any opposed?
Oh, you would want to say
Okay.
that.
Mr. Masuel Arias is opposed.
Let's vote.
So it won't go back, and therefore I can now read, is there a motion to approve the petition and adopt the zoning committee statement of consistency as it appears in our agendas and on the screen as the council's own? Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
What's the motion? To approve.
To approve.
Right, so this is
Item 18.
item 18, right, Crosland Southeast. There is a motion? Yes, a second?
And now discussion.
Okay, any discussion? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Driggs. Thank you to the residents of District 5 for coming out and being here, showing your advocacy. I just want to talk to my colleagues. I will be voting no with this rezoning, and it's not because the residents or myself are against affordable housing or higher density. We deeply believe it is the wrong place for the zoning. I think it's not the proper location. It's right next to a single-family neighborhood. There's already really high traffic congestion and real traffic concerns. As you can see, the signs say yes to safety. And you know, as a council that's committed to Vision Zero, as well as reducing traffic fatalities, I think it is imperative of us to keep that into account. There's also 90 townhomes being built just down the street from there. That's going to cause more congestion coming to this area. It's an area prone to car crashes, despite that intersection will be undesignated, a high injury network, and also infrastructure gaps. Now, having conversations with the developer, they've agreed to $250,000 of sidewalk improvements across the whole area, whether the rezoning area as well as the non-rezoning area, so that is improvement. However, despite of those changes and those good faith approaches, I still will be voting no against it because I do respect the voices of my residents who overwhelmingly do not want this, and I just believe that I hope this council takes into account that we need to just keep pursuing smart development, right? We are growing fast as a city, but it shouldn't be at the expense of disrupting single-family neighborhoods. So those are all my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Altamira.
Thank you, Mr. Driggs. So question for staff. So this $250,000 commitment, is that part of the conditions?
What's being referred to is the note that states that they would be implementing the street frontage improvements across the church property as well as their site. They did not put a dollar amount in their conditional notes, but they said that they would be implementing street frontage requirements and improvements as they will be triggered with subdivision and CDOT during the permitted process. So they didn't have a dollar amount put into the conditional notes, but it's in the conditional notes that they would have those improvements done.
Okay. So in other rezonings, I haven't seen a specific dollar amount included. So does the staff recommend leave it as is and not put a number to it?
We're quite comfortable with it as is.
Okay. Well, thank you. Well, I agree with my council member, Mastura Arias. I will not be supporting this rezoning petition. However, I do appreciate the good faith efforts by the petitioner in terms of the infrastructure improvements. And I appreciate my neighbors for showing up here and making sure your voice is heard. Thank you all. That's all I have.
Ms. Mayfield.
Thank you, Mr. Driggs. I
Oh, yeah, I'm
also
sorry.
want to share that I appreciate all of the community that has reached out to us through calls, through emails. The concern that I have, a number of them. One, we have a lot of growth happening in our city. And when we think about what the idea of smart growth could be as we continue to support projects, we also need to consider, are we contributing to reconcentrating poverty? And what does that look like? So if it's already been established that the average income in the area is just under $50,000, and we're proposing a project that may or may not have affordability into it, because that's depending on whether trust fund dollars are available. But if colleagues remember, 2 weeks ago, we approved that last $3.5 million, so that particular budget of NOAA has been exhausted, so we have to have a different conversation. Yet, when we think about areas of growth throughout the city, areas where we have homes that are valued at $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, that are near or even adjacent to homes that were valued at $200,000, they had a grocery store. They have retail. They have amenities. They're able to run to the store, and that store is not just a Dollar Tree and or a dollar type store for basic needs. When we all are out advocating for our areas, as the former district rep of District 3 for 8 years, the biggest challenge was when a potential retailer would say, well, you don't have the rooftops. Well, what does that mean? You're saying we don't have the income. Well, first of all, we know we have more expendable income than you like the numbers when you like the numbers. But when it comes to an investment, you use it as a reason not to. I could not, in good faith, support continuing to let that be a reason not to have the investments that we are looking for on the east side, especially after the multiple years and millions of dollars we have invested into former Eastland Mall area and what is happening over there. This is a beautiful project potential. I do not think that this area is the area for this particular project. And when we look at the impact to community, and to be perfectly honest, when I look out and I see my elders out here, I want your next 25 years to be some good ones while y'all have the ability. And I don't know if this is the project that's going to help make that happen, when aging in place and staying in place is something that's very important to me. Thank you. Oh, and so that is very clear, no, I would not be voting to support it.
All right, that was clear. Ms. Owens.
I just had a couple of questions. I want to make sure that I'm clear. I saw in two places, we are up to 99 years. Is that correct?
That's right. The affordable housing commitment is for the 125 units would be maintained for their levels of affordability for up 80%, at least 80% area median income for at least 99 years. So the petitioner has stated during the public hearing and at the community meeting that they are aiming for a lower AMI, but the conditional notes state that no more than 80% AMI.
And then if they are unable to get housing trust fund dollars after 2 cycles, can you explain to all of us what happens?
So if they are unable to secure Housing Trust Fund dollars after 2 cycles. The notes state that they could develop N1A uses. And they are already zoned N1A, so it's essentially maintaining status quo.
Thank you. No further questions?
Dr. Watlington.
Now I have a new question since you said that, but I'm gonna leave it. I just wanted to comment that I appreciate the perspective that Councilmember Sweater Arias and Councilmember Mayfield brought to the table. I'm hopeful that the development community and the neighbors, if you're not already, are able to have a broader conversation about what it will take to deliver the overall community area plan, which includes amenities, grocery stores, all of those kinds of things, because I do understand that there seems to be this dichotomy between we need more rooftops, we need higher AMI, but we have this need for affordable housing right now, and I can understand as a neighbor why it would feel like we're making choices to continue to compromise the future of the area. But I also understand the urgency of a particular need or opportunity when it comes to bear. So I'm hopeful, and I guess I'll leave this with you, Councilmember. I'm hopeful that the community and the development community can come together to have that broader conversation so that when we're having these one-off discussions about individual parcels, everybody is confident about how the plan comes together overall.
Absolutely.
That's all.
Thank you. I have Ms. Mayo.
Thank you. I think this was this has been a very interesting petition. We've received all of your emails, people against and for. So first, just want to thank y'all for taking the time to advocate for your beliefs and for your neighborhood. As I'm kind of thinking of this and what the Councilmember Watlington also talked about, I know oftentimes when we speak with advocates, particularly for affordable housing, we talk about housing first, particularly for our unhoused people. So I personally will be voting yes as a result of that, just thinking about the broader spectrum and the needs of our community.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Driggs. First, I want to just thank the community for just continued engagement. East Charlotte is always engaged and always paying attention to what's going on. So thank you. Received all your emails, have had some phone calls and conversations. What I also want to say is that we've watched this project in particular evolve. So going from a 20-year affordability window to a 99-year affordability window, reducing the number of dwellings, dwelling units, and the addition of senior multifamily units in addition to for-sale townhomes. So it's a really unique mix of housing types in one particular location. Also very proximate to our Eastland Yards location, which of course the entire council has supported. But when you think about the evolution of the area plan for that space and how these residents will have increased walkability for amenities, entertainment, food, et cetera, it really does bode well to combine this type of this mix of housing stock in a place that's trying to establish increased walkability and increase amenities. So I hope that the community will continue to have a high level of engagement, and I'm certainly hopeful that the Housing Trust Fund dollars will be there, because that really that's what I believe makes this project particularly unique for such a long time. We talk about affordability, we talk about our seniors who want to age in place, we talk about home ownership being the opportunity to pivot out of intergenerational poverty, and there is a mix of all of that in this particular effort. So I'm very hopeful that the Housing Trust Fund dollars will be there. Thank you, Mr. Driggs.
Ms. Suera Arias.
Thank you for the ability to speak again, Mr. Driggs. I just want to say that right now, East Charlotte is really at a crossroads, right? We have created a community that is only sustainable to live, not work or play. And we do have incredible projects coming on the horizon, but I want this council, I wanted to make it very clear. We cannot continue concentrating poverty and low income in one area, particularly areas that have always been disadvantaged. So, vote how you will, but I really, moving forward, please consider East Charlotte. We are lacking amenities. We have folks, investors telling us that the reason grocery stores and other things are not coming to East Charlotte is because we have low AMI levels. And if we keep concentrating that, these folks, individuals right here, are not going to have grocery stores or retail or restaurants to go play and work with. So I just really, take into account East Charlotte because we have been neglected for so long. And yes, there is incredible growth happening in that area as Eastland Yard Sports Complex and what this council has done previously, but also consider that we got sold out from the transportation plan, right? We're not getting as much investments as already areas that already are getting that already have existing transportation. This is a community that doesn't depend or rely much on cars. They walk or they take the bus. And we already were short sold on that plan and the transportation referendum. So please really consider, if we want to make East Charlotte a vibrant community, as well as one that is able to work, live, and play at. Because right now, my residents are driving a half an hour, more than an hour, to go to work, to go shop at South Park or Cotswold or Concord or Carolina Place. And so I just want to leave that clear that I want to make sure East Charlotte get those what they desperately need, which are amenities, in an area that they can work, live, and play. Thank you.
So I actually have a comment myself on this one. And Mr. Masuera Arias, I appreciate your engagement on behalf of your constituents and your admonition in terms of how we go about this. At the same time, location has been a challenge for us for as long as I've been on council. I think other veterans will agree. Finding the right solution where the housing can be established at a reasonable price and therefore can be made available affordably, taking into account the proximity of stores and things, trying to check all the boxes puts us often in a difficult position. And on this one in particular, this actually aligns with a number of things that we really wanted to try to accomplish, partnership with a religious institution. And so I think the short story is the council is between a rock and a hard place here. And I think you can hear the fact that there is a diversity of opinion depending on how you weigh that. Personally, I will support this because I do think in the grand scheme of things, this is what we are trying to accomplish. We're trying to create this kind of housing. We'd like to partner with churches, 99 years. So I agree with my colleagues who said that we need to be thoughtful going forward and hope that this can be accomplished. But my own vote will be in favor for those reasons. I do appreciate you all coming tonight. So is there any further comment? If not, I think we have a motion and a second, and therefore I will call for a vote. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that carries. All opposed?
Any opposed?
I said it.
I'm waiting on him to call.
All right,
I'm waiting on him to
opposed.
call it.
4 opposed. And that's all of us, right? Okay, that carries. Thank you. So that was our last decision tonight. Right, and then we move on to our hearings.
I did not see that coming. Did you see that coming? I didn't think he had it.
So we just go, right? Deferred. So item 19 is deferred. Item 20 is deferred. 21 is the first hearing for tonight. So,
Yeah.
yes, okay.
3.
So we'll go through and read the description, right? Yeah, go ahead. Rezoning petition 2025-072 by Lincoln Property Company. Location approximately 44.02 acres located west of Old Statesville Road, south of Vance Davis Drive, and north of Reams Road. This is in the ETJ. In Commissioner Powell's district, the closest city council district is Ms. Johnson. Current zoning is OFC, Office Flex Campus, and MUDD-CD, Mixed Use Development Conditional. Proposed zoning is ML1CD, Manufacturing and Logistics 1 Conditional. Staff recommends approval of this petition upon resolution of an outstanding issue related to land use. And so we'll hear from staff, please.
Thank you.
I don't remember that, Victoria.
This site is just over 44 acres, as you said, located in our ETJ, though located adjacent to District 4, just along the west side of Old Statesville Road, in an area where we have predominantly industrial uses, as you can see here on this map. It is currently zoned Office Flex Campus on the northern portion of the site and has some mixed-use development district, old legacy ordinance entitlements along the southern portion of the site, and they are requesting to go to Manufacturing Logistics 1 Conditional. The policy map recommends the Community Activity Center place type for the site. That's really as a result of the MUD conditional entitlements that were put on the site years ago. The proposal itself is that for up to 350,000 square feet of warehousing, warehouse distribution, manufacturing, office, and other light industrial uses. It prohibits some of the non-preferred uses or other noxious uses that you wouldn't want to see in this area, such as landfills or even data centers. I have a complete list of those uses up here. It commits to providing the county with a 35-foot wide easement for a greenway. Notes several transportation and streetscape improvements categorized along different access points. At Access A, you have a new shared egress lane, remarking the median, adding a southbound right turn lane, providing an internal protected stern, and then at Access B along Statesville Road and Independence Hill Road, adding ingress lane and 2 egress lanes, remarking westbound right turn lane, adding northbound, southbound left turn lanes, and several other items. At Access C, providing 1 ingress lane and 1 shared egress lane, and providing minimum 100-foot internal protected stern. And in terms of staff recommendations, staff recommends approval of this petition upon resolution of an outstanding issue related to land use. The proposal is in line with the development that we have seen along this west side of Old Statesville, which is really industrial in nature in terms of its entitlements as well as its existing uses. The conditional plan limits the uses that could occur on the site and prohibits those that we really wouldn't want to see in that area. It does facilitate potentially 2 comprehensive plan goals. Goal 6 could be facilitated through their commitment for that greenway easement, and then Goal 8 might be facilitated by virtue of the industrial uses, potentially for adding jobs to the area. And I'll be happy to take questions following petitioner comments.
Thank you. I have 3 speakers signed up, Colin Brown, Brittany Lenz, and Scott Kurtz. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Councilmember Driggs, Councilmember Zoning Committee, Colin Brown on behalf of the petitioner, Lincoln Property Group, Scott Kurz is here as well. Holly did a very nice job on the presentation. 44-acre site. We got 2 zonings. We've got an office zoning at the top and an old MUD zoning that is a multifamily zoning district. As Holly mentioned, the thing to know about this site is everything in this quadrant is kind of manufacturing, employment-based, except for a part of our site which currently has a multifamily zoning plan on it. That has not come to fruition. We think a lot because of what's around it. And so Lincoln would like to come in and bring some employment uses into the area. Happy to have staff support. I will mention that I did receive a call and an email from County Commissioner Elaine Powell over the weekend. This is her district. This is actually an unincorporated Mecklenburg County. Her question for us is the county has a historic property here and has asked us to look at our buffering and see if we can enhance that and include some native species, I think, which will reflect the historic structure next door. We're happy to do that, and we will get that in our revised plan that we submit on Thursday. Happy to take any questions.
Colleagues, any questions? Do I have a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Sorry, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Can you speak a little bit about that historical site? I didn't see that on.
Probably not with great expertise. It is a historic home that is a historic home place. The county is not opposed. They're just asking for some buffering in that location, and we're happy to do that.
Is it on the historic commission? Has it been designated?
It's a real county-owned.
Oh, it's county-owned. Okay,
That's
so
correct.
it's official. Okay,
You can go visit it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so do I have a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, that's unanimous. Item 22 is deferred, so we move to item 23. Rezoning petition 2025-132 by Hopper Communities, Inc., approximately .44 acres located west of Providence Road, north of Edgemont Road, and south of Cavendish Court in Miss Owens District. Current zoning is R8 MFCD, multifamily residential conditional. Proposed zoning is N1A, Neighborhood 1A. Staff recommends approval of this petition. Ms. Kramer.
Thank you. This site is under half an acre, located along the west side of Providence Road in a very residential area. As you can see here, predominantly single-family residential in the immediate vicinity. It is currently zoned R8 multifamily conditional. That's an old legacy district for multifamily residential. That's from a 1993 zoning, though, I will say, which limited the site to bed and breakfast uses. And what they are requesting is neighborhood 1A, which, as you can see on this map, would put it right in line with everything that is surrounded by. The policy map recommends the neighborhood 1 place type, so this request would be in alignment with that. It is in one of our adopted area plans, so it is within the South Middle Community Area Plan. As I just stated, it would be in alignment with that policy map designation for neighborhood 1. In terms of priority goals, we believe it could facilitate goal 2 for neighborhood diversity and inclusion because it's removing those narrow entitlements on the site that were previously improved and would open up the permitted uses for anything allowed within the N1A district, which could include diverse residential options. Staff does recommend approval of this petition in line with the area plan and also in line with the adopted policy map already for the site. And I'll take questions following petitioner comments.
Thank you, Ms. Kramer. We have 2 speakers signed up, Aaron Hauk and Jack Roberts.
It's a cool site. My pre-law professor.
Good evening, Councilmember Driggs and council members. I do have some slides. I don't know if they're... Oh, here we go. So with me tonight is Jack Roberts of the petitioner and John Carmichael, who works with me at Robinson Bradshaw.
Please?
My name is Aaron Hauk,
Thank
and
you.
I'm here on behalf of the petitioner Hopper Communities. The site, as Holly said, is about .441 acres on the west side of Providence Road. It's about midway between Sharon Amity and Fairview Road. The site, here's an aerial of the site. It contains a detached single-family house right now. Here's a Google Street View of the house that is on the site. As Holly said, the current zoning is R8 MFCD, an old conditional district under the legacy ordinance. The 1993 conditional zoning plan includes this site plan, which cites the existing house. So the house was there in 1993 when the conditional zoning plan was adopted. There are a few development notes also with the conditional zoning plan, including the one that limits any structures on the house to any structures on the site to the structure that's already there. The petitioner is seeking a rezoning to N1A to accommodate any uses that are allowed in the N1A zoning district. This is a conventional zoning request. And as Ali said, the request is consistent with the policy map, which places this site in the neighborhood 1 place type. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, do I have a motion to close the hearing?
So move.
Second.
All in favor? That passes. Thank you. So we move on to agenda item 24, petition 2025-135 by the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Hospital Authority. Approximately 41.26 acres located south of North Tryon Street, east of W.T. Harris Boulevard, and north of Johnson Alumni Way in Ms. Johnson's district. Current zoning is IC1, Institutional Campus 1. Proposed zoning is ICZ-EX, Institutional Campus 2. That's a 2. Exception. Staff recommends approval of this petition upon resolution of a requested technical revision. With that, we'll hear from Ms. Kramer.
Thank you. This site is about 41 acres along North Tryon as well as East W.T. Harris Boulevard. As already stated, this is a healthcare institution that's currently on the site. It is currently zoned IC1, Institutional Campus 1, that they are proposing to go to IC2EX, Institutional Campus 2 exception. So I'll explain what an exception petition is here in a moment. But the policy map recommends the campus place type. The proposal itself, which would be a continuation of healthcare institution uses, and the IC2 district that they're requesting is in alignment with that campus place type already adopted for the site. The proposal itself, we have a list of standards with this request that we don't have a site plan, but this is an exception request, and exception conditional rezonings are a way for us to modify certain qualitative and quantitative zoning standards in exchange for public benefits. And public benefits would fall into at least 2 out of 3 categories: city improvements, public amenities, and sustainability measures. So we like to reserve EX petitions for scenarios where extenuating circumstances make it difficult to meet ordinance standards. Healthcare institutions are difficult uses to fit into our ordinance in a neat and tidy box. So that is why it's being considered as an exception request here today. It could not be accommodated under their existing IC1 zoning, needed to pursue the IC2 so that you could apply those exception provisions. And the exception provisions are a list of what they are modifying in the ordinance, and they then provide public benefits essentially as a justification for their modifications. So I'll go ahead and show you the list of their provisions. So this is pretty technical in nature, so I'm not going to get into it, but I'll have it here if we want to get back to it. But some of the items that they're modifying, for example, are maximum building length along a frontage, or a maximum parking for a medical office use, minimum ground floor height. And they note how they're modifying this standard and also what is the typical UDO requirement for that. The public benefits that they are providing in exchange. So under the public amenity category, they will be installing a trailhead connection to the UNC Charlotte Fitness Trail. That would contain bench seating, trail map signage, and trail lighting. Under the city improvement category, they would be providing a microtransit area on the site to include dedicated curb space for rideshare, waiting pad consistent with CAT's detail standards. And under the city improvement category, they'd be constructing a bus stop waiting pad and shelter at the existing bus stop along North Tryon. So that would be exceeding the ordinance requirements since they have a bus stop waiting pad, and CATS wouldn't typically require them to upgrade that to a full waiting pad and shelter as they are specifying. Staff recommends approval of this petition upon resolution of a minor technical revision. We believe that the exception provisions requested make sense, and the public benefits offered are adequate justification given the request of this rezoning petition. Again, healthcare institutions don't always fit into neat and tidy boxes, so I think an exception application to this petition is logical. And I'll take questions following petitioner comments.
Thank you, Ms. Kramer. We have 4 speakers signed up. John Carmichael, Bennett Thompson, Joseph Labowitz, and Nathan Tidd. Mr. Carmichael,
Thank
you
you,
have 3
Councilman.
minutes.
Thank you, Councilmember Driggs, members of City Council and the Zoning Committee. I'm John Carmichael, here on behalf of the petitioner, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Hospital Authority, also known as Atrium Health. Bennett Thompson and Joe Labowitz with Atrium are here, as is Nathan Tidd with Kimley Horn. The site's a little over 41 acres, northeast corner of North Tryon and East W.T. Harris Boulevard. UNC Charlotte is to the east and north. University Place shops are to the west, and you've got variety of commercial and retail to the south. This is an aerial photograph of the site. Got a little zoomed in aerial of the site, and I will say that the site is the home of Atrium Health University City Hospital. And it's hard to see, but this is the existing bed tower. It's located in the central portion of the site. The site is currently zoned IC1, as Holly indicated. You've got IC1 zoning to the east and north, Todd zoning to the north and west, and a variety of commercial districts to the west and south of the site. Petitioners requesting the site be rezoned to IC2EX to accommodate the expansion of the hospital facilities. The approval of the rezoning request would increase the allowed maximum height of buildings on the site. The maximum height in IC1 is 50 feet without a bonus, 80 feet with a bonus. In IC2, it's 120 feet without a bonus, 250 feet with a bonus. The current expansion plan is to build a new bed tower as an addition to the existing bed tower. The new bed tower would be approximately the same height as the existing bed tower, 90 to 100 feet, and it would contain 6 stories so that it could connect to the existing bed tower. The new bed tower is needed to meet the healthcare requirements of the community. This rezoning request would also accommodate future expansions of the hospital facilities. This is a photograph of the existing bed tower, and then, of course, the addition would connect to that structure. The 2040 policy map places the site in the campus place type. This request is consistent with the 2040 policy map. I want to give you a little context here. Prior to the effective date of the UDO, this site was zoned institutional. And under the institutional zoning district, you could build, without going through a rezoning, by right, the bed tower that Atrium seeks to build. When the UDO became effective, the zoning was converted from institutional to IC1. IC1 has a more restrictive height than institutional, because institutional, you can increase the height if you increase the side yards. That's not available in IC1. So the UDOs really put healthcare institutions in a tough spot. So we had to rezone to IC2EX to exceed 80 feet, and we'd have to have a bonus with 80 feet. And then we need exceptions because the certain development standards are more urban in nature, and that doesn't accommodate a hospital. We're happy to answer any questions.
Excellent. Ms. Mayo.
I had a quick question, Holly. Is this by the old university library? Is that, okay, thank you. I think that's an interesting topic to think about, how we're reusing existing areas instead of always just, cutting down trees. So I'm excited to hear that we're thinking about reusing existing areas instead of just clear cutting and diminishing our tree canopy.
So I don't want to miss an opportunity to thank Atrium Health for their role in our community and their many contributions. It's not a land use issue, but just want to point it out. Is there a certificate of need issue here?
Yes. Joe Labovitz, president of the hospital, said yes.
Right. Again, that's not a land use consideration. I'm just interested to know whether that's pending or where you stand.
Thank you, yes. Joe Labovitz, president of Atrium Health University City. And yes, we have a conditional certificate of need that was granted. It's currently in the process of being converted from conditional to full.
Great. Thank you for that information. As I say, that's actually not a land use criterion, but if I have no further comments, I'll entertain a motion to end the hearing, close the hearing.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Okay, JD, in favor?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay, good.
It's Monday.
I know, already. We're struggling.
So we move to agenda item 25, rezoning petition 2025-138 by Coral Reef Investment Properties, a location approximately 8.62 acres located along the east side of West Tyvola Road, south of South Tryon Street, and west of Sleepy Hollow Road in Ms. Mayo's district. Current zoning is R17 MF CD, multifamily conditional. Proposed zoning is R17 MF CD SPA. So I assume this is grandfathered, like this is an old petition?
There are some amendments.
Okay. Staff recommends approval of this petition. And Mr. Oliver.
Yes, this is a site plan amendment to an existing conditional plan under the legacy zoning ordinance. It's a 8.62 acre site on the east side of West Tyvola Road, just south of South Tryon Street. The plan proposes to change a previously approved multifamily residential plan. The site is currently undeveloped. Current zoning is R17 MF CD, multifamily conditional. Proposed zoning is R17 MF CD SPA, which is a site plan amendment to that existing plan. The plan is consistent with the goals and policies of the Southwest Middle Community Area Plan, and it is in alignment with the 2040 policy map recommendation for the Neighborhood 2 place type. A little background, 2022, the petition 2021-235 was rezoned to R17 MFCD to allow for the development of 129 multifamily apartment dwelling units, including 6 workforce housing units, and that would be in 3 principal structures. The site plan amendment calls for the reduction in the number of multifamily stacked buildings from 3 principal structures to 2, increase the maximum number of apartment units from 129 to 134, including an increase in the workforce housing units from 6 to 7, the removal of a pedestrian connection between West Tybola Road and Sleepy Hollow Road, and the modification of the site access by shifting the northern driveway on West Tybola approximately 200 feet to the south. Staff recommends approval of this petition as the site plan. It's a site plan amendment to a previously approved plan with only minor changes. And the proposal is consistent with the 2040 policy map's recommendation for the Neighborhood 2 place type. The site is also abutting a park and is served by transit. I'm happy to take any questions following Ms. Grant's presentation.
Thank you. I'd like to note briefly there are some empty chairs here. Some colleagues go to the room behind the chamber here and follow the hearing on a screen because there are refreshments there and it's a comfortable place to sit, so they're definitely engaged.
They're
And
weak.
I would like to.
Kidding, love y'all.
I would like to
It's all
note
the newbies and you, Vic.
That means come back, is what he's saying.
Well, I would like to note for anybody who may be there, we have a closed session after this meeting, so please do not leave the building. And with that, we have, I believe, one speaker signed up, Bridget Grant. There she is. Hi.
Good evening, Councilmember Driggs, members of the board. I appreciate your time this evening. Max did a phenomenal job of presenting, so I'm just going to jump ahead to our summary slide. It worked.
He called you out.
Councilmember May was able to attend our community meeting, and so we were able to make some changes, not only in the response to our site changes, but also in response to community feedback, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Dante's back.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted by my neighbor here.
I'm sorry.
I gave a brief presentation, so you didn't miss
All
it
done?
much. Yeah, I'm ready to answer any questions.
She said that.
Great.
I mean, Councilmember Mayo was
Yeah. I did go, yeah.
33 seconds, 23 seconds.
Yeah, I just had
That's
a
a
quick
record.
question. I think I asked Holly earlier. Have y'all thought of helping with a crosswalk so that people can get to the Yorkmount Park? That's not far away. I think for the people on the other side of Tybola. Is that something y'all would think about, Bridget?
We haven't had that chance to have that conversation. I think it would probably depend on what's feasible along that site. We've got connectivity with the sidewalks along our site that go directly up, but I understand you're asking for across the street.
If possible, I think that would be a great opportunity just for us to think about connectivity when we're thinking about Vision Zero as well. How are we being proactive when we're having these rezonings to think about, our green spaces and people having access to our green spaces in a way that's safe? Thank you.
Seeing no other comment, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So move.
Second.
All in favor? That carries. Good. Okay. Our penultimate hearing. Item number 26, rezoning petition 2025-139 by Average Express. Approximately 53.24 acres located on the north side of Shopton Road, west of Beam Road in Ismailis District. Current zoning is I-1 CD, ANDO, Light Industrial Conditional Airport Noise Disclosure Overlay. Proposed zoning is ML2 CD, ANDO, Manufacturing and Logistics 2 Conditional Airport Noise Disclosure Overlay. Staff recommends approval of this petition upon resolution of a requested technical revision. Yes, Mr. Magro.
Good evening. This site is about 53 acres located on the north side of Shopton Road, west of Beam Road. The site is graded, was part of the 2021 rezoning that encompassed this site as well as about 50 acres to the north and entitled it for light industrial uses. The site's surrounded by a mix of uses, other industrial, commercial, as well as institutional uses. Closest residential uses are across Shopton Road to the south. The current zoning is I1CD. It's within the airport noise disclosure overlay, with a proposed zoning of ML2CD ANDO. The 2040 policy map recommends the manufacturing and logistics place type. The proposal would expand industrial uses permitted on the site to allow a limited number of ML2 uses, and specifically a vehicle operations facility. Would allow for a maximum building square footage of 180,000 square feet, while prohibiting the most noxious ML2 uses. Access would be both from Shopton Road as well as from Beam Road through a connection through the site to the north. A 100-foot Class A landscape yard, which could be reduced to 75 feet with a berm, would be adjacent to an institutional use in the southeastern corner of the site. Also, a 50-foot Class C landscape yard along the site's Shopton Road frontage, where across the street from single-family residential. The petition commits to dedication of the floodplain to Mecklenburg County for future Coffee Creek Greenway. The petition is consistent with the goals and policies of the Southwest Middle Community Area Plan and is in alignment with the policy map recommendation for the manufacturing and logistics place type. Does not directly facilitate priority goals for Southwest Middle Community Area Plan, however, does or could facilitate Goal 8 for diverse and resilient economic opportunity from a comprehensive plan perspective. Staff recommends approval of this petition upon resolution of a requested technical revision. The site is entitled for light industrial uses. The petition would expand the permitted industrial uses while reducing the building footprint on the site. Most of the noxious uses permitted in ML2 would be prohibited while allowing for a vehicle operations facility. The site is located within the airport noise disclosure overlay and provides appropriate buffering to adjacent institutional and residential uses. I'll turn it over to the development team.
Great. Thanks, Joe.
Yes, I have 4 speakers signed up. Looks like only one is here. Mr. Brown, Cam Sessions, Matt Zurkowitz, and Travis Webster. But Mr. Brown, it looks like you're the spokesperson.
Thank you. I do the Averitt team here. Travis Webster is here, Regional VP. Thank you. I've got another interesting one for you this month. As Joe has kind of hit all the details, the big takeaway is if you see the site, it's already graded. We worked on the zoning a few years ago. It's approved essentially for a massive logistics center, warehouse, the things that we see around. Averitt Express is a national logistics company. You may see their trucks on the road. They have been looking for years to bring a regional headquarters to Charlotte. They think this would be an ideal location. A couple components that's I think very positive. Councilmember Mayo and I have talked about this. This actually brings a diversity of employment opportunities. They would have a headquarters facility here, bringing white collar jobs. They would still have some warehousing facilities so that we would have those jobs. The reason we're really here tonight is they would like to have a vehicle maintenance facility. So when those trucks are coming from all over, this gives them a location to go where the trucks can be maintained and service. So we're talking about jobs like diesel mechanics, and that's something Councilmember Mayo said, hey, you know, we have opportunities. We have CMS that is doing programs like this. These are different jobs, different pay levels. So this creates a real opportunity to have a variety of uses, jobs, employment opportunities on the same site, and it dramatically reduces the square footage of buildings that would be developed on the site. We've met with the Steel Creek Residents Association. The traffic from this site would be about halved, going from that major logistics facility to this. So we are talking about some slightly more intensive uses. It's really that vehicle maintenance facility, which is key to Averitt wanting to be there to serve the needs for their company. So happy to take any questions you have.
Are there any questions?
Move to close the hearing.
Second.
So Matt, is it Sinkovitz?
Yes, it is.
I apologize, I couldn't quite read that.
No, it's the first one.
All right, have a motion and a second. All in favor? Okay, so we trundle along now to the last one for tonight. Rezoning petition 2025-140. by Excel Financial Services, Inc., approximately .43 acres located east of Sandy Porter Road, north of Camden Creek Lane, and south of Sandy River Lane in Council District 3, Ms. Mayo's district. Current zoning N2B, Neighborhood 2B. Proposed zoning CAC 1 CD, Community Action Center, Activity Center 1, conditional. Staff recommends approval of this petition. Mr. Oliver.
Yes, petition 2025-140 is .43 acres located on the east side of Sandy Porter Road, just west of South Tryon Street. Petition proposes an adaptive reuse of a single-family home for activities permitted in the Community Activity Center zoning district. Site is currently developed with a single-family home. Current zoning is N2B, Neighborhood 2. Proposed zoning is CAC 1 CD, Community Activity Center conditional. The plan is consistent with the goals and policies of the Southwest Outer Community Area Plan. However, it is not in alignment with the 2040 policy map recommendation for the Neighborhood 1 place type, and I'll elaborate on that more in a moment. The proposal allows for the adaptive reuse of the existing structure to accommodate uses permitted by right and under prescribed conditions in the Community Activity Center district, such as personal services, office, medical, dental office, et cetera, but it prohibits certain uses that may be incompatible with the neighborhood, such as automotive-oriented uses such as vehicle fueling facilities, drive-throughs, car rental facilities, parking lots as a principal use, et cetera. However, while it is consistent with the plan, but not in alignment with the policy map, it would be a minor map amendment to that policy map. It's consistent with the goals and the policies of the Southwest Outer Community Area Plan, as it meets the minor map amendment criteria, such as a minimum acreage when you combine it with the other Community Activity Center place type that's surrounding it to the southeast and to the north. It's adjacent to Neighborhood 2 place type and zoning, both across the street and surrounding it. And it's less than a quarter mile from multiple bus routes. The proposed plan could help facilitate the Southwest Outer Community Area Plan priority goal of a 10-minute neighborhood by expanding access to goods and services for area residents. And the program guide provides additional information on how the policies recommended by the adopted community area plans would update the policy map. Staff recommends approval of this petition as it meets the minor map amendment criteria, and supports the shift to a community activity center, enabling a wider mix of retail, office, medical, and service uses. Sites surrounded by other community activity center place type, Neighborhood 2 place type and zoning, and it has access to transit. I'm happy to take any questions following the petitioner's presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. We have one speaker signed up, Dolores Leith. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. My name is Dolores Leith. I am the president of Excel Financial Services and representing the petition for 2500 Sandy Porter Road to be rezoned to CAC 1. When I purchased this property, it was approximately, I would say, about 15 years ago. And at the time, it was very residential there. The apartments behind the property currently were not there. The gas station at the corner of Sandy Porter and Tryon were not, South Tryon was not there. There was, I believe, the Dunkin' Donuts was built not long after, but overall, it really had a residential feel to it. With time, and I would say over the last 5, 7 years, 8 years, it has changed dramatically. And what I've found is that it is increasingly difficult for me to keep good tenants in it. You know, people don't want to be there if they have kids, because this property is the first residential property in a line of residential properties. They have built the school down the road. There is a community facility across the street. There is a restaurant bar next door, as well as those apartments behind my property, the property. So I'm asking that we rezone it. I do believe that bringing the rezoning would help the community, because we're looking to open a professional services establishment that would be open to the community and it would be by appointment only. So right now, traffic is a huge issue in the area, but it would be by appointment only, and we do have enough space. We're going to use the building that we have. We have enough space to provide for parking on site, and we would be able to offer things like nails, hair salon, facials, that sort of thing. So it would be personal services establishments. And I'm open to any questions.
So thank you, Ms. Lee.
Ms. Mayo has a question.
Any comments? Yes.
Hi, how are you? I'm just hoping that you'll get a chance to talk to the Still Creek Residents Association. They have mentioned that they have not heard about this petition. I've consulted with the planning staff. If you could get with Holly and her team, or I believe Joe Mangum is helping with, no, it's not, Joe is on, when you look at the paperwork. But if you can get with Javier Lopez from the Still Creek Residents Association and please present to them your petition, I think that would be helpful for me as I'm talking about that with my colleagues. Thank you.
Yeah, I will say that they were on the mailing list.
Sorry, there wasn't a question.
Yeah,
so-
that was just asking her to.
Okay. We appreciate your coming tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
I make a motion to.
Oh, we're closing the
Close the hearing.
Or to close the
public
hearing.
hearing?
Second.
All right. All in favor? Okay, so that's the last hearing for tonight. We do have a closed session, so do you need to read then the motion to go into closed session?
Okay. Is there a motion to go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A4 to discuss matters related to the location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the area served by the public body, including...
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Order, please.
That means
Order.
just some businesses coming.
Colin, we're still in session.
You're interrupting us.
All right.
All right, so I think we got all
You
that.
have a motion and a
We have
second?
a motion and a second. All in favor?
Okay.
All right, we're going into closed session.
Okay.
Thank you.
JD.